Hello, and welcome to LR Productions. I'm here to find the truth in lies and deceit. Today's episode is a bit different. I'm going to talk today about a pretty controversial case that has been surfacing recently as a false imprisonment. I'm talking about the case of Adnan Syed. Adnan Syed was a very outgoing person in his high school. His ex-girlfriend, Hyman Lee, was what you'd call a very enthusiastic kid. At the age of 18, Hyman Lee was found strangled and her body left buried in a park. The main suspect was Adnan. Adnan was suspected of killing Hy under strange circumstances. There was hardly any evidence that supported the fact that he did this horrible act. Only testimonies from people that were friends with Adnan, like Jay Wilde. Jay Wilde testified that he helped Adnan bury the body. But why would he say this if Adnan didn't commit the crime? This would have damaged Jay's image and the rest of his life. This is the real truth we are trying to figure out. Did Adnan kill Miss Lee, or was this all just a wrongful conviction? The man in the center there is Adnan Syed after finding out he was a free man. A wrongful conviction is very important when it comes to deciding cases. A wrongful conviction means a sentence someone commits when they are innocent. I believe strongly in the law that states innocent until proven guilty. This was indeed not the case because Adnan was sentenced at 18 to a first-degree murder plus 30 years. I believe that Adnan is innocent because of the lack of evidence against him. I find it strange that he was sentenced without strong evidence or even DNA anywhere. It is very strange. We've seen this case like this before, but none that have gotten this much attention worldwide. Now, let's dive into the evidence present in this case, which is limited. When we think of evidence, DNA, clues, physical evidence always comes to mind. It's what allows detectives to solve cases. But in this case, there's a lack of evidence throughout this whole trial. People were thinking that this was a racially motivated sentence. I don't think that, but it is definitely a thought. Cell phone records were brought up a lot. Cell phone records and the cell tower maps matched half of what Jay was saying. Now, who is this Jay Wilde guy? He is very important, and I'll dive into him soon enough. In my opinion, cell phone tower records and maps are not as reliable as concrete evidence such as DNA, first-hand accounts, etc. Even the cell phone towers were against Jay because they made his testimony seem sketchy. This man right here is Jay Wilde. Now, who is Jay Wilde? He is very important in this case. He was very close friends with Adnan. He testified that he helped bury the body with Adnan. Now, here is why it gets confusing. Jay Wilde testified that he saw Hyman Lee's body in a Best Buy parking lot. Then suddenly it changes to Edmondson Avenue. Why would he change this? Who knows? I believe it is to limit his association with Adnan because it isn't worth going to jail over someone like Adnan who already is being sentenced. Only one thing seemed right about Jay's story. Based on phone records, it showed that Adnan was with Jay at the time of Hayes' disappearance. But Adnan had a new phone, so why would he leave it with a friend like Jay? It doesn't add up or seem right. I'm not saying that Jay isn't reliable, it just doesn't seem right that all of it is changing. Jay knew where Hayes' car was and told the police. How did he know where it was? Maybe he did help Adnan with the murder, who knows? I'm only giving my opinion and hopefully maybe persuade you into thinking otherwise. What really happened to Hyman Lee? This is Hyman Lee. Hay was found partially buried in Leakin Park. After sources declared she was killed by strangulation on February 9, 1999. Hayes' family really wanted Adnan behind bars. They strongly believed that he committed the crime. She was always full of life, said her family, someone you meet in life and never forget. I'm questioning all the evidence. The evidence in this case is very sketchy. There's no concrete evidence against Syed. Saying this means he should never have been proven guilty. Looking at it now, I don't think this was racially motivated. I think people like the jury or the judge was not looking deep enough into this case in case reports. Only recently have forensic analyzers now found out that there was no DNA from Adnan left on Lee's body. Now, about these cell towers that were dismissed because they were deemed unreliable. That's valid because anyone could have been using Adnan's phone if you think about it. The defense attorney stated that Adnan Syed was proven guilty because of his Muslim background. I can see how how some people may see that. But race has no effect in a case like this, or maybe it does. I find it strange how evidence is constantly changing. No DNA found at the scene matched Adnan. Testimonies from friends said that they were with Adnan at the time of her death. So, why did the police rely so heavily on Jay Wild's story? That's the question. Okay, so we got our results from the survey I opened up last night. Here they are. So I did the survey and looked at the results. 75% of you are in favor of Adnan being guilty, 20% are innocent, and 5% are unsure. Strange results. I want to know why you would all say he's guilty. Here's my number if you wish to have a debate or talk a bit more about the case. 905-999-999. I'm totally open to discussions. Try to change my mind. Now, here's my conclusion. Thank you for tuning in on episode 45. This was definitely a strange episode, but thanks to Serial, more people need to speak out about this case. Wrongful convictions are real and have occurred to real people. Huge shout out to Serial, who made this case widely popular. Without them, this case would not get the total recognition it needs. The New York Times was a huge source for us with background information. My job is to share cases I deem wrong and strange, and this case fit the description perfectly. Thanks for tuning in and listening, and thank you very much, and have a great day. Catch you next time.